this video, we will take a deep look at One Piece Season 2. We will talk about the storyline, give a clear summary of the plot, and explore the main cast and their characters. In addition, we will discuss the production detail and examine the box office and overall performance of the project. Finally, we will share reviews and our personal reaction to the series. So let's get started. When we talk about exciting modern adventure stories, few titles create as much curiosity and excitement as One Piece. With the arrival of the season 2, the conversation around this series has grown even bigger. Before diving into the story, characters, and deeper analysis, it's worth taking a moment to warm up the discussion and understand why this show deserves our attention. First, let's talk about the genre. One Piece sits at a fascinating intersection of fantasy, adventure, action, and comedy. That combination alone make it unique in the modern television landscape. Many adventure shows try to focus only on action or drama, but One Piece mixes high energy battle with humor, emotional storytelling, and imaginative world building. This balance is one of the key reasons why audiences around the world continue to engage with the series. The story is not just about pirates fighting for treasure, it's about friendship, dreams, and the idea of pursuing freedom against impossible odds. Another important reason this series deserves discussion is the narrative vision behind it. The world of One Piece originally came from the legendary manga created by Ichiro Oda. For more than 2 decades, Oda builds an incredibly detailed universe filled with unusual islands, strange creatures, and unforgettable characters. Translating such a massive and imaginative story into live action television is not an easy task. In fact, many fans were skeptical when Netflix first announced the adaptation. However, the production team managed to capture much of the spirits and charm that made the original manga so beloved. Speaking of production, the visual style and production design of the series are also worth highlighting. Pirate stories often lean toward dark or gritty realism, but One Piece embraces a colorful and stylized approach. The costumes are bold, the ships feels fantastical, and the environment look like they were pulled directly from a storybook. This creative production style helped the show stand out from other fantasy or adventure series currently on streaming platforms. Instead of trying to hide its eccentric nature, the series proudly celebrates it. Another fascinating aspect of the production is how it blends practical set with modern visual effect. Many scenes use large constructed environments, ships, towns, and harbors to give the world a tangible feeling. At the same time, visual effects are used to bring the more impossible elements of the story to life, especially the unique power of the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy's elastic abilities could easily look unrealistic or awkward on screen, but the production team has worked carefully to integrate these effects in a way that feel playful and cinematic. There is also something interesting about the tone of the series. One Piece does not take itself too seriously, yet it still manages to deliver powerful emotional moments. The humor, the action, and the heartfelt theme coexist in a way that make the show accessible to a wide audience. Younger viewers can enjoy the adventure and comedy, while older viewers may appreciate the deeper message about loyalty, courage, and the importance of following one's dream. Finally, the growing popularity of One Piece highlight an important trend in modern entertainment. The global influence of Japanese storytelling, when started as a manga, has now expanded into anime, films, merchandise, and a successful live action series watched worldwide. That culture journey alone make this production an interesting subject for discussion. So before we dive deep into plot, characters, or character arc, it's important to recognize why this series stand out. With its adventurous genre blend, the creative foundation laid by Ichiro Oda, and a production style that embraces imagination rather than limiting it. One Piece Season 2 is more than just another streaming release. It's a bold attempt to bring one of the most iconic adventure stories ever created to life in a new format, and that alone make it worth discussing. When analyzing the production budget of the live action adaptation of One Piece Season 2, it became clear that the project represents one of the most ambitious television production in modern streaming entertainment, adopting the massive pirate adventure created by Ichiro Oda requires significant financial commitment because the world itself is vast, imaginative, and visually complex. The story moves through unusual islands, elaborate pirate ships, and a wide variety of characters, all of which demand extensive resources during production. Industry estimates suggest that the budget for the second season remain close to the scale of the first season, with cost averaging roughly 17 to 18 million dollars per episode. Considering that the season contain about 8 episodes, the total estimated production budget likely fall between 135 million and 150 million dollars. For a television series, this level of investment places it among the most expensive adventure and fantasy production currently being produced for streaming platform. Maintaining a similar budget for the second season makes strategic sense because the narrative expands into the Grand Line, a region known within the story for its unpredictable environment and increasingly powerful enemies. As the setting becomes larger and more fantastical, the production naturally requires additional financial resources to properly visualize these elements on screen. A significant portion of this budget is directed toward visual effect and digital production. The central protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, possesses elastic ability that allow his body to stretch and move in unusual way. Bringing these powers to life in a convincing manner require detailed computer-generated imagery, motion tracking, and careful compositing during post-production. Visual effects are also necessary for creating giant sea creature, exaggerated action sequence, and the stylized environment that define the One Piece universe. Because these elements appear frequently throughout the story, the visual effect department receive a substantial portion of the overall production budget. Another major allocation of resources goes into practical set construction and physical production design. Unlike some fantasy series that rely heavily on digital environment, his production built large-scale physical sets whenever possible. Pirate ship, coastal town, marketplaces, and village are constructed in real locations so that the actors can interact with tangible environment. This approach increased production costs because constructing and maintaining large sets required skilled labor, material, and extended shooting schedule. However, it also enhanced the authenticity of the series, giving the world a more immersive and cinematic feel. Location production is another area where financial resources are constructed. The series has been filmed in coastal region and studio facilities capable of accommodating large maritime sets. Transporting cast members, technical crew, and equipment to these locations add logistical expenses, but it allowed the production team to capture natural landscape that reinforce the adventurous town of the story. The cast and the crew also represent an important element of the financial structure. As the popularity of the series grows, actors portraying major characters become more recognizable to audience around the world. Their contract and salaries typically increase with each season, reflecting both the show's success and increased demand placed on performers during filming. In addition to the actor, hundreds of crew members work behind the scene, include stunt coordinator, costume designer, cinematographers, editor, and visual effect artist. All of these professionals contribute to the final product and require appropriate compensation within the overall budget. Post production costs from another substantial portion of the financial structure. Editing the episode, integrating digital effects, balancing sound design, and refining color grading all require specialized team working over many months after filming has been completed. Because the series blend practical sets with computer generated imagery, the post production processes becomes especially complex when compared with similar fantasy and adventure production. The budget of One Piece season 2 places it firmly within the upper tier of television spending. Some earlier season of Game of Thrones reportedly cost around $15 million per episode, while the Mandalorian has operated within a comparable financial range. On the other hand, extremely large products such as Stranger Things have reached even higher cost per episode during later season. Within this context, the financial scale of One Piece demonstrates Netflix's willingness to invest heavily in global franchise storytelling. Overall, the production budget reflects the scale of the narrative itself. The world of pirates, strange islands, and the imaginative character require colorful financial planning and extensive resource allocation. By maintaining a high production budget, the creator ensure that the adventurous spirits and visual spectacle of the original story can be translated effectively into live action form. The live action adaptation of One Piece presents a unique blend of genres that set it apart from many modern adventure production. At its core, the series operates as a fantasy adventure, but it also integrates elements of action, comedy, and light drama. This mixture creates a viewing experience that feels both energetic and imaginative, rather than focusing slowly on intense action or dark storytelling. The show balances spectacle with humor and emotional warmth, creating a tone that feels adventurous and optimistic. The fantasy aspect of the genre play a major role in shaping the overall atmosphere. The world itself is filled with unusual islands, colorful tones, strange creatures, and pirate ships sailing across unpredictable seas. This imaginative setting gives the story a sense of wonder and discovery. Each new location feels like a fresh chapter in an ongoing adventure. Instead of repeating similar environment, the narrative constantly introduces new landscape and culture, which keep the atmosphere lively and visually engaging. The sense of exploration becomes a central part of the viewing experience. Another key moment of the genre is action. The stories follows pirates pursuing their dreams. Conflict is inevitable in such a world. Swords fight, daring escapes and dramatic confrontation appears throughout the narrative. However, the action is not portrayed in a purely gritty or violent manner. The fight scenes are often stylized and energetic, reflecting the exaggerated style of the original manga created by Ichiro Oda. The choreography emphasizes moments and personality rather than realism, allowing the action to remain exciting without becoming overly dark or intense. The comedic tone also plays an important role in defining the mood of the series. Humor appears frequently through character interaction, playful dialogue, and unexpected situations. The main protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, embodies this light-hearted spirit. This cheerful personality and simple outlook on life bring a sense of joy to the story. Even during dangerous moments, his enthusiasm and optimism help maintain a tone that feels hopeful rather than grim. This comedic element prevents the narrative from becoming too heavy and allow the audience to connect emotionally with the character. The pacing of the series reflects its adventurous nature. Episodes tend to move at a steady rhythm, alternating between moments of exploration, character interaction, and bursts of action. This pacing helps maintain audience engagement while still allowing time for world building. The story does not rush through its environment; instead, it gives viewers opportunity to observe the atmosphere of each new location. Conversation between characters often reveal their motivation, personal histories, and dreams, which strengthen the emotional connection to the crew. Atmosphere is further shaped by the visual style of the production. The creator chose a colorful and stylized aesthetic rather than a strictly realistic one. Costumes are vibrant, ships have distinct design, and environment often feels slightly exaggerated. This stylistic choice reflects the fantastical root of the original story while making the live action and visually memorable. The series embraces its imaginative tone instead of trying to hide its it behind realism. Music and sound design also contribute to the overall mood. The soundtrack often combine adventurous orchestral themes with playful melodies, reinforcing the sense of journey and excitement. During quieter moments, softer musical cues highlight emotional connection between characters. This careful use of music also help guide the audience emotional response throughout the story. Another important aspect of the tone is the theme of friendship and loyalty. The crew members rely on one another while pursuing their dreams across dangerous seas. Characters such as Rona, Zoro, and Nami bring different personalities and perspective to the group, creating a dynamic that feels both entertaining and meaningful. Their interaction contribute to the warm and hopeful atmosphere that define the series. Overall, the genre and the mood of One Piece combine to create a story that feels adventurous, colorful, and emotionally engaging. The blend of fantasy, action, and comedy ensure that the narrative never becomes predictable. Through its energetic pacing, imaginative environment, optimistic tone, and the series capture the spirit of a grand pirate adventure while maintaining a welcoming atmosphere for a wide range of viewers. Audience expectation before watching One Piece season 2 are shaped by several factors including the popularity of the original story, the reception of the first season, and the type of the viewers the series attract. Because the show is based on the famous manga created by Ichiro Oda, audience already approach the new season with a strong set of hope and assumption. These expectations differ depending on viewers' demographic, familiarity with the original material, and the personal preferences within the fantasy and adventure genre. One of the largest viewers group consists of long-time fans of the original manga and anime. For these viewers, expectations are naturally very high. Many of them have followed the story for years, sometimes even decades, and they already know the character, the major story arc, and the emotional moment that made the series famous. When they watch a live action adaptation, they expect the production to remain faithful to the spirit of the source material. This means accurate character personality, recognizable location, and a tone that capture the adventurous optimism of the original story. Fans especially hope to see the characters like Monkey D. Luffy, Rorona, Zoro, and Nami portrayed in ways that match the emotional depth and humor they experience in the manga or an anime. At the same time, another important demographic include viewers who are completely new to the One Piece universe. These viewers may not have any prior knowledge of the character or story, and their expectation is usually shaped by the Netflix reputation for producing large-scale fantasy series. They expect strong production quality, visually impressive environment, and an engaging storytelling that is easy to follow even without knowledge of the original source. For new audience, the series need to work as a standalone adventure. They expect clear storytelling, charismatic character, and a world that gradually introduces its rule and mysteries without overwhelming them. A demographic also play a role in shaping expectation. Younger viewers, especially teenagers and young adults, are often drawn to the show because of its energetic tone and the colorful character. They expect exciting action sequence, humorous moment, and a sense of adventure similar to other popular fantasy franchise. Many viewers in this age group are interested in characters who pursue big dream and challenge authority, themes that are central to the story. The main character determination to become the pirate king resonates strongly with audience who enjoy inspirational adventure narratives. All viewers may approach the series with slightly different expectations. Some are curious about how a beloved manga has been translated into live action, while others simply want an entertaining fantasy series with strong storytelling and high production values. These viewers might pay closer attention to the pacing, acting, performance, and the narrative structure. They expect the show to balance spectacle with emotional depth rather than relying only on visual effect or action scene. Genre fans represent another key audience group. Viewers who enjoy fantasy, adventure, or pirate themed stories are naturally interested in what the series offers. These audiences often expect expansive world building, imaginative location, and a steady sense of discovery. They look forward to the exploration of mysterious islands, strange creatures, and the rival pirate crew. For these viewers, the appeal lie in the idea of an unpredictable journey where each destination introduces unique challenge. Another expectation among genre fans include the balance between humor and drama. One Piece is known for mixing light-hearted comedy with serious emotional moments. Fans expect the live-action series to preserve this balance. They want the story to remain fun and adventurous, but they also anticipate meaningful character development and occasional dramatic moment that deepen the narrative. Anticipated themes also influence how audience approach this. Many viewers expect the story to focus on friendship, loyalty, and the pursuit of dream. These themes have always been central to the One Piece universe, and the audience look forward to seeing how they are portrayed on screen. The relationship between crew members is especially important as they share journey from the emotional heart of the story. Viewers expect these relationships to grow stronger as the crew faces new challenge together. Another expectation involves the scale of the world itself because of the One Piece universe is famous for its imaginative locations and creative storytelling. Audience hope that each new season expand the world further. They expect to see new islands, new cultures, and new enemies that push the character beyond their previous limit. Overall, audience expectation before watching the new seasons are a mixture of excitement, curiosity, and cautious optimism. Fan of the original material hope for faithfulness and the emotional authenticity, while the new viewers expect an engaging fantasy adventure with memorable character. Genre enthusiasts anticipate imaginative world building and thrilling actions, while broader audience look for a story that balances humor, heart, and spectacle. These expectations create a unique viewing environment where the series must appeal to multiple type of viewers while still maintaining its distinctive identity. The live action adaptation of One Piece is designed for a broad and diverse audience, but certain viewer group are clearly the primary target because the series combines fantasy, adventure, comedy, and action. It appealed to multiple demographics at once, from teenagers discovering the story for the first time to long-time fan of the original manga created by Ichiro Oda. The production aimed to reach viewers who enjoy imaginative storytelling and character-driven adventure. One of the main target audience for the series is teenager and young adults, generally between the age of about 13 and 30. This age group is often drawn to the stories that features ambitious heroes, adventurous journeys, and themes of self-discovery. The central character, Monkey D. Luffy, embodies the kind of optimistic and fearless personality that resonates strongly with younger audience. His dream of becoming the pirate king reflects a universal idea about pursuing goals without giving up, a message that many young viewers find inspiring. The energetic pacing, colorful visual, and comedic interaction also help keep this demographic engaged. And another important group within the target audience is fan of fantasy and adventure genres. Viewers who enjoy large fictional worlds, unique creation, and stories about exploration are naturally drawn to a series that, like One Piece, the show presents a vast ocean filled with mysterious island, pirate crews, and unusual culture. Each location introduces new conflict and discoveries which appeal to viewers who enjoy immersive world building. Fan of fantasy television often look for stories that transport them into imaginative setting, and this series offers exactly that experience. The show is also clearly aimed at exciting fan of the original anime and manga. For more than 2 decades, One Piece has built a massive global fan base through comics, animated episode, and the film. Many of these fans are now adults who grew up with the story. The live action adaptation allow them to revisit familiar character and arc in a different format. For these viewers, the appeal lies in seeing beloved characters portrayed by real actors and watching famous story moments recreated with modern visual effect and production design. Characters such as Rorona, Zoro, and Nami carry emotional significance for long-time followers, making them a key reason this demographic continue to watch the series. In addition to the genre fan and long-time followers, the series also target general streaming audience who may not have prior knowledge of the One Piece universe. Streaming platform often aim to produce shows that can attract viewers looking for entertaining, easy to follow story. For this group, the series look as a fun adventure rather than a strict adaptation of a famous manga. The narrative structure introduces character location, generally allowing viewer to enjoy the journey without needing deep background knowledge. The mix of humor, action, and emotional moment make the show accessible to people who simply want engaging entertainment. Another portion of the audience include viewers who enjoy character-focused storytelling. While the series contains many action scenes and fantasy elements, Its emotional core revolves around relationship between crew member. The bond between Luffy and his companions grows stronger as they travel together and face dangerous enemies. The emphasis on friendship, loyalty, and trust appeal to viewers who prefer stories driven by character development rather than purely by action. The show can also attract family viewers, although it is not specifically designed as a modern program. The adventurous tone and colorful character make it appealing for younger audience, but the narrative sometimes includes serious conflict and emotional backstories. Because of this balance, the series works well for older teenagers and families who enjoy watching adventurous fantasy content together. Parents who appreciate imaginative storytelling may find the show suitable to watch alongside their children. Interest in pirate and exploration themes also shape the target audience. Pirate stories have long fascinating viewer because they combine freedom, danger, and discovery. One treasure hidden across the seas. Viewers who enjoy tales of exploration and daring journey are likely to be drawn to this type of narratives. Another notable aspect of the target audience is international viewer. The One Piece brand has a global following, and the live action adaptation is designed to reach audience far beyond Japan. The diverse cast, universal themes, and visually rich storytelling to make the series accessible to viewers from different culture and background. Overall, the target audience for One Piece is broad but clearly centered on viewers who appreciate imaginative adventure stories. The teenager and young adult looking for inspiring heroes, fantasy fan interested in large fictional world, and a long-time follower of Ichiro Oda original work all form the core audience. At the same time, the show remains accessible enough for general viewers who simply want an entertaining series filled with humor, action, and memorable character. By appealing to these overlapping groups, the production creates a viewing experience that is both nostalgic for exciting fan and welcoming to new audience discovering the story for the first time. The live action series One Piece offer viewers an emotional experience that blend excitement, warmth, and inspiration rather than focusing only on spectacular action. The story promises a journey filled with emotional highs and lows that reflect the struggle and dream of its character. The mood of the series constantly shifts between light-hearted adventure and meaningful drama, creating an experience that feels both entertaining and emotionally engaging. At its core, the mood of the series is optimistic and adventurous. The world of Pyro, mysterious islands, and endless seas is designed to inspire a sense of freedom and discovery. Viewers are invited to experience the excitement of exploration alongside the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. His cheerful personality set the emotional tone for much of the series, even when facing powerful enemies or dangerous situations. Luffy's approach challenges with enthusiasm and confidence. This attitude encouraging the audience to feel hopeful rather than fearful, reinforcing the idea that courage and determination can overcome almost many obstacles. Another important emotional element comes from the theme of dream and ambition. Each member of the pirate crew carries a personal goal that driven them forward. Luffy dream of becoming the pirate king, while characters like Rorona, Zoro, and Nami pursue their own ambition. These dreams give the story emotional depth because they represent universal human desire. Many viewers can relate to the idea of striving for something meaningful despite difficult circumstances. As the character face setback and challenge, audience feel a growing sense of empathy and connection with them. The emotional experience also include moments of friendship and loyalty which are central to the series theme. The crew members generally form a strong bond as they travel together across the sea. Their trust in one another becomes one of the most powerful emotional forces in the story. When one member of the crew is in danger, the other are willing to risk everything to help them. These moments reinforce the idea that friendship can provide strength during difficult times. For viewers, watching these relationships grow can create a feeling of warmth and emotional satisfaction. Humor play an equally important role in shaping the emotional core. The story frequently introduces playful interaction, comedic misunderstanding, and exaggerated character reaction. This humor prevents the narrative from becoming too heavy or dramatic. Instead, it keeps the atmosphere lively and enjoyable. The playful personality of Luffy often lead to assuming situation that lighten the mood after intense action scene. By balancing humor with serious storytelling, the series ensures that viewers experience a wide range of emotion without feeling overwhelmed. At the same time, the series does not avoid emotional struggles and dramatic moments. Characters often reveal painful past experience that shape their personalities and motivation. These backstories provide context for their action and deepen the emotional impact of the narrative. And viewers learn about the hardship that certain characters have faced, they begin to understand why those characters fight so passionately for their dream. These emotional revelation create moment of reflection and empathy, encouraging the audience to see the character as more than just adventurer. Another emotional promises of the series lie in its sense of wonder and discovery. The world itself feels unpredictable and full of surprises. Each new island introduces different culture, challenges, and mysteries. This constant exploration creates excitement and curiosity, encouraging viewers to keep watching to see what happens next. The feelings of embarking on a grand journey becomes one of the most memorable aspects of the viewing experience. The themes of freedom and individuality also contribute to the emotional impact. The pirates in the story are not simply criminals searching for treasure, they represent individuals who refuse to live according to rigid rules imposed by society. Loaf's determination to follow his own path reflects a broader message about living authentically and embracing one's identity. For many viewers, these themes can be deeply inspiring as it encouraging them to pursue their own dream without fear of judgment. The intended emotional impact of the series is therefore both uplifting and motivated. By combining adventure, humor, and heartfelt relationship, the story aimed to leave viewers feeling energized and hopeful. The character determination to overcome challenges and remain loyal to their friends sends a positive message about perseverance and trust. Ultimately, the emotional experience promised by One Piece is one of joyful adventure mixed with meaningful reflection. The story invites viewers to laugh, feel suspense, and occasionally experience touching moment of vulnerability. Through its optimistic mood, universal theme, and memorable character, the series creates an emotional journey that resonates with audience long after the episode ends. The core idea behind One Piece can be understood as a philosophical exploration of freedom, ambition, and the pursuit of identity within an unpredictable world. Beneath the adventurous surface of pirate battle and treasure hunt lies a deeper narrative concept about individuals who refuse to accept the limitation placed upon them by society. The story invites viewers to reflect on the meaning of dreaming, the value of companionship, and the courage required to pursue a path that others may consider impossible. At the center of the narrative stand the idea of dream as guiding forces. Every major character in the story is driven by personal aspiration that shape their discussion and their willingness to face danger. These dreams are not simply goals in a traditional sense, they represent personal identities and emotional truth. The protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, embodies this concept more than any other figure in the narrative. His desire to become the Pirate King is not presenting merely as a quest for power or wealth. Instead, it symbolizes absolute freedom, the ability to live without restriction and to explore the world according to their own principle. Through this central ambition, the story proposes a larger message about individuality. The character refuse to conform to rigid social structure, then attempt to control their choices in the world of the story. To control their choices in the world of the story, authority often represent order, hierarchy, and the enforcement of the rule that restrict personal expression. By contrast, the pirates represent the possibility of self-determination. They sail across open seas, choosing their own direction rather than following predetermined paths. The ocean itself becomes a metaphor for limitless possibilities, suggesting that life creates experience lie beyond familiar boundary. Another essential theme within the core idea is the transformative power of friendship. The narrative repeatedly emphasizes that dream, no matter how powerful, can't be achieved alone. As the protagonist gather companion throughout his journey, each individual contribute their own perspective, strength, and motivation. Characters such as Rona, Zoro, and Nami are not simply supporting figures, they represent distinct emotional journey that intervene with the central narrative. This their present demonstrate that collective bond often provide the strength necessary to confront overwhelming obstacles. Within this context, the story explores the idea that loyalty and trust form the foundation of meaningful relationship. The crew member develop a deep sense of solidarity as they face adversity together. Each challenge reinforces the belief that individuals often share a common purpose, can overcome even the most powerful opponent. These emphasis on cooperation stand in contrast to the competitive nature of the pirate world, where many characters pursue treasure or influence for selfish reasons. For highlighting loyalty over personal gain, the narrative suggests that true success arises not from domination but from unity. The concept of freedom versus control also play a major role in shaping the story's message. Throughout the narrative, powerful institution attempt to impose order upon the chaotic world of pirate and explorer. This system of authority often claim to maintain stability and justice, yet they frequently suppress individuality and creativity. The pirate journey become a symbolic challenge to these structures rather than accepting imposed limitation. The protagonists seek to define their own values and principles. In this sense, the story reflects a broader philosophical question where security gained through control is worth the loss of personal freedom. Another dimension of the core idea lies in the celebration of diversity and uniqueness. The world presenting in the story is filled with unusual cultures, strange environment, and the individuals with extraordinary abilities. Instead of presenting these differences as barrier, the narrative treat them as source of strength and wonder. Every island introduces a new perspective, reminding viewers that the world is richer when it embraces variety. This approach reinforces the theme that individuality should not be surpassed but appreciated as an essential part of human experience. The concept of adventure as personal transformation also runs throughout the narrative. The journey across the sea is not simply about reaching a destination, it represents a process of growth. Each challenge forces the character to confront their fear, question their assumption, and redefine their identities. In this way, the voyage becomes symbolic of life itself. The unpredictable nature of the ocean mirrors the uncertainty of personal development, where progress often requires courage and resilience. Another underlying message within the story concerns the idea that dreams are inherently risky but ultimately worthwhile. Pursuing a dream often involves leaving behind comfort and security. The character repeatedly faces obstacles that threaten to end their journey, yet they continue forward because abandoning their dream would mean abandoning their true slaves. The narrative suggests that the value of the dream lies not in achieving but also in the determination required to pursue it. The emotional tone of the story further reinforces this message by presenting hope as a powerful force. Even in moments of defeat or despair, the character refuse to surrender their belief. Their optimism becomes contagious, encouraging viewers to consider how resilience and positivity can influence real life challenges. Ultimately, the core idea of One Piece revolves around the belief that life gains meaning through freedom, connection, and pursuit of dreams. The narrative uses the adventurous framework of pirate and exploration to express universal ideas about identity, friendship, and personal courage. Through its theme and message, the story suggests that the greatest treasure is not material wealth but the experience and the relationship formed along the journey. By framing its concept in this way, the series transforms what might appear to be a simple adventure into a broader reflection on the human desire to live authentically and explore the limitless possibilities of the world. The central conflict with One Piece emerges from a complex tension between freedom and control, individuality and authority, ambition and responsibility. Rather than focusing only on physical battles or dramatic confrontation, the deeper conflict operates at the level of philosophy and personal belief. The story explores what it means for individuals to pursue their dream in a world that often attempts to restrict or define these dreams. At its core, the conflict assess where true freedom is possible in a society structured around rule, hierarchies, and a system of power. One of the most significant moral dilemmas revolve around the idea of personal freedom versus social order. The character who choose the life of pirate represent a rejection of traditional authority. They refuse to accept the boundaries placed them by institutions that claim to maintain stability and justice. However, this rejection creates tension because societies often depend on structure and law to function. The story repeatedly invites viewers to consider whether the pursuit of freedom inevitably lead to chaos or whether system of control sometimes suppress the very individuality that allow people to thrive. The central figure in this philosophical struggle is Monkey D. Lofe, whose personal belief in limitless freedom stand at the heart of the narrative tension. Lofe represents an uncompromising commitment to the idea that everyone deserves the right to follow their own path. His philosophy challenges structure that attempt to dictate who can succeed, who can travel freely, and who has the authority to claim power. This belief system creates natural opposition from forces that view such freedom as dangerous or destabilizing. The story also presents an internal conflict with an individual who pursued their dream. Every major character carries a personal ambition, but pursuing those ambitions requires sacrifices. Character must constantly evaluate how far they are willing to go in order to protect their dream. This creates a subtitle moral tension. The line between determination and recklessness is not always clear. A dream can inspire courage and growth, but it can also lead individuals into situations where they must confront the consequence of their choices. Another important dimension of the central conflict involves the balance between self-interest and loyalty. The world portrayed in the series is filled with individuals choosing their own goal, often at the expense of others. In such an environment, trust becomes fragile. The characters who travel together must constantly prove their commitment to one another. The bond is tested by the reality that personal ambition would potentially clash with the need of the group. The narrative explores whether strong relationship can survive in a world defined by competition and personal ambition. Characters such as Roroa, Zoro, and Nami illustrate another layer of this conflict, the struggle between past experience and future possibilities. Many individuals within the story carry emotional burden from earlier stage of their life. These experiences shape their attitude toward trust, loyalty, and personal identity. The challenge lies in overcoming the limitation imposed by past pain while still moving forward toward a desired future. The tension between past trauma and future aspiration add emotional depth to the broader philosophical conflict. The narrative also explored the concept of identity within a vast and unpredictable world. The sea functions as a symbolic environment where established rules and social categories being to resolve. Individuals are not no longer defined solely by where they come from or by the expectation placed upon them by society. Instead, they must actively define themselves through their actions and belief. This process creates internal tension as characters struggle to determine who they truly are and what they stand for. Another central challenge arises from the clash between idealism and realism. Characters who pursue dream often hold idealistic vision of the future. They believe in friendship, justice, and the possibility of living freely. However, the world they navigate freely operate according to harsh principles. Pain, influence, and survival sometimes demand difficult compromises. This contrast between hopeful ideals and harsh realities create an ongoing tension that shape the narrative. The character must decide whether to adopt their ideals to fit the world or attempt to reshape the world according to their ideals. The theme of power and responsibility also play a major role in defining the conflict. Strength, whether physical or emotional, grant individuals the ability to influence others and the alter the course of event. Yet power carries its own ethical question. How should strength be used? Is power justified if it serves personal dream, or must it be serve a broader purpose? The story presents these questions not as a simple moral lesson but as ongoing dilemmas the character must navigate throughout their journey. Another element of the central conflict in the fear of failure. Pursuing a dream on a grand scale, inevitability invite the possibility of defeat. The character constantly confront the risk that their ambitions may never be realized. This fear create emotional tension that drives the narrative forward. Instead of portraying failure as purely negative, the story treats as a defining part of personal growth. The willingness to face failure because a measure of the character, courage, and commitment. Ultimately, the central conflict of One Piece revolves around a profound question whether individuals can remain true to their dream and values in a world filled with obstacles, competing ambition, and a system of authority. The tension between freedom and control, loyalty and ambition, realism and idealism form the philosophical foundation of the story. Through these interconnected challenges and moral dilemma, the narrative explores the universal struggle to live authentically while navigating the complex structure of society. The live action adaptation of One Piece explores a wide range of themes that give the story emotional depth beyond its adventurous surface, while the narrative features pirate, mysterious sad seas, thrilling battles at the deeper layer of the story focus on ethical question, emotional growth, and cultural ideas about freedom and identity. These themes help transform the series from a simple adventure into a broader reflection on human values and relationship. One of the most prominent themes in the story is the concept of freedom. The characters are constantly searching for the ability to live according to their own belief rather than following rules imposed by others. For the protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy, freedom represents the ultimate goal. His dream of becoming the Pirate King is not merely about gaining power or fame. Instead, it sublimes reaching a state where he can travel anywhere, make his own decision, and protect the people he cares about. These themes raise ethical questions about how societies balances freedom and order. While rules are necessary to maintain the stability, the story suggests that too much control can limit creativity and individuality. Closely connected to the freedom is the theme of dreams and ambition. Each major character carries a personal dream that motivates their journey. These ambitions represent more than simple goals, they define the character identities and shape their emotional development. Pursuing a dream requires courage because it often involves facing uncertainty and danger. The narrative emphasizes that dreams give life meaning even when they appear impossible to achieve. Through the character's determination, the story encourages viewers to reflect on the importance of pursuing personal aspiration despite obstacles. Another powerful theme explored in the series is friendship and loyalty, the relationship among the crew members from the emotional center of the character. As individuals from different backgrounds come together, they learn to trust and support one another. Characters such as Rorona, Zoro, and Nami represent different perspectives and life experience, yet they gradually form strong bonds with their companions. The story shows that loyalty is not something that appears instantly. It develops through shared struggle, mutual respect, and a willingness to stand by one another during difficult times. These themes highlight the idea that meaningful relationships are built through commitment and understanding. The narrative also explored the theme of identity and self discovery. Many characters begin their journey with uncertainties about who they truly are or where they belong. Through their adventure, they confront challenges that force them to examine their beliefs and values. The process of self discovery becomes an essential part of the emotional arc. By facing fear, overcoming fast hardship, and accepting their unique quality, the character gradually develops stronger sense of identity. This theme resonates with viewers because it reflects a universal human experience, the search for purpose and self understanding. Another important theme involves the conflict between authority and individuality. The world portrayed in the story contains powerful institutions that attempt to regulate behavior and maintain order. These structures often present themselves as a protector of justice and stability. However, the narrative question whether such authority always serves the greater good. By showing characters who challenge these systems, the story raises ethical questions about obedience, rebellion, and legitimacy of power. It invites viewers to think critically about when authority should be respected and when it should be questioned. The theme of resilience and perseverance also plays a central role in the character's emotional journey. The path toward fulfilling a dream is rarely smooth. Obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt appear frequently throughout the narrative. Instead of presenting success as effortless, the story emphasizes the importance of resistance. Character must repeatedly confront failure and continue moving forward despite discouragement. This theme reinforces the idea that growth often occurs through diversity and that determination can transform challenge into opportunities for personal development. Culture diversity and acceptance from one another meaningful aspect of the story theme. The world of One Piece is filled with a wide variety of island communities and traditions. Each new location introduces unique customs and perspective, demonstrating that culture is not a single uniform experience but a collection of diverse viewpoints. The character encounter individuals who live in a very different way, and these interactions encourage mutual understanding and respect. By presenting diversity as a natural and valuable part of the world, the story promotes a message of openness and curiosity toward other culture. The theme of justice and morality also emerges in subtitle way throughout the narrative. Characters are often faced with situations where the distinction between the right and the wrong is not entirely clear. Some individual labeled as criminal may act with compassion and integrity, while others who claim to uphold justice may behave selfishly and obviously. This moral ambiguity encourages viewers to question simplistic definition of good and evil. Instead of presenting clear moral categories, the story suggests that ethical discussion often depend on context and personal values. Another emotional theme present in the series is the importance of hope and optimism. Despite the danger of the world they inhabit, the character maintain a belief that their dreams are worth pursuing. This optimism becomes a source of strength during difficult moments. It reminds viewers that hope can inspire courage and unity even when circumstances appear overwhelming. Ultimately, the theme explored in One Piece revolves around universal question about freedom, identity, loyalty, and moral responsibility. Through the emotional arc of its character and cultural diversity of its world, the story encourages audience to reflect on their own values and aspirations. By combining adventurous storytelling with thoughtful thematic exploration, the story offered more than entertainment. It presents a narrative that invites viewers to consider what it truly means to live authentically and pursuing a meaningful life. The emotional connection created by One Piece comes from the way its story blends adventurous excitement with deeply human themes. Although the series presents a colorful world filled with pirates, mysterious seas, and unusual power, and the emotional core of the narrative is grounded in universal experience that viewers can easily recognize. By combining a hopeful mood, relatable themes, and meaningful character relationship, the story built a powerful connection between audience and the character. One of the primary ways the series creates emotional engagement is its optimistic and adventurous mood. From the beginning, the story invites viewers into a world where dreams are worth chasing even when the odds seem impossible. The main character, Monkey D. Luffy, embodies the spirit of optimism. His unwavering belief in freedom and personal dream create an emotional tone that feel uplifting rather than cynical. When viewers watch Luffy approach challenges with enthusiasm and determination, they often feel inspired by his attitude. His positive energy becomes contagious, encouraging audience to feel hopeful and motivated alongside the character. Another powerful source of emotional connection lies in the theme of friendship and loyalty. The story places great importance in the relationship between the crew members who travel together. These relationships are not simply convenient alliance, they are built through shared experience, trust, and mutual respect. Characters such as Ronoa, Zoro, and Nami each bring their own personalities, struggles, and motivation into the group. As the characters support one another during difficult moments, viewers witness the development of genuine bond. These moments often resonate emotionally because they reflect the value of relationship in real life. Audience may see echoes of their own relationship in the loyalty and trust shared by the character. The emotional connection also grow through the character personal dream and ambition. Every member of the crew has a unique goal that defines their journey. These dreams represent deeply personal aspirations such as seeking recognition, freedom, or a sense of belonging. Because these motivations reflect common human desire, viewers can easily relate to them. Watching characters struggle to achieve their dream remind audience of their own ambition and the challenge they face in pursuing them. This shared experience creates empathy and encourages viewers to emotionally invest in the outcome of the character's journey. The series also uses emotional backstory to strengthen its connection with the audience. Many characters carry painful memories or difficult past experiences that shape who they are. When these stories are revealed, viewers gain a deeper understanding of the character's motivation and fear. These moments of vulnerability allow the audience to see the character as complex individuals rather than simple heroes and adventure. Emotional backstories often create powerful moments of empathy, encourages viewers to feel compassion and admiration for the character. Resilience. Another element that enhances emotional engagement is the sense of adventure and discovery that run throughout the story. The world of One Piece is vast and constantly changing. Each new destination introduces unique environment, culture, and challenges. This sense of exploration allows viewers to experience the excitement of discovery alongside the character. The emotional experience becomes similar to embarking on a journey with friends where each new location brings both excitement and uncertainty. These shared adventure help audience feel connected to the character experience and encourages them to continue through following the story. Humor also plays an important role in shaping the viewer's emotional experience. The series frequently balances dramatic moments with playful humor and light-hearted interaction. The cheerful personalities Lofe often lead to amusing situations that relieve tension after intense scenes. This balance between comedy and drama prevents the story from becoming overly heavy or emotionally exhausting. Instead, the alternating mood creates a natural rhythm that keeps viewers engaged while allowing them to appreciate both the fun and the seriousness of the narrative. The theme of hope and perseverance further strengthens the emotional impact. Characters often face overwhelming obstacles that challenge their determination. Rather than giving up, they continue moving forward with courage and optimism. These moments highlight the importance of resilience, reminding viewers that setbacks are a natural part of pursuing meaningful goals. Watching characters confront difficulties with bravery and inspire audience to reflect on their own challenge and find motivation in their characters' persistence. Another important factor in the emotional connection is the story emphasis on belonging and acceptance. The crew members come from different backgrounds and experiences, yet they find a sense of home with one another. This side that people can build their own family through friendship resonates strongly with viewers. Many audiences connect with the emotional comfort that comes from being accepted by a supportive group. Ultimately, the emotional strength of One Piece comes from its ability to combine exciting adventure with heartfelt human experience through its hopeful mood, meaningful themes, and engaging character relationship. The story creates an emotional journey that feels both entertaining and inspiring. Viewers are not simply watching a group of pirates searching for treasure. They experience a story about dream, friendship, and the courage to follow on one's path. This combination of excitement, emotional depth allows the series to leave a lasting impression on audience long after the adventure continue. When analyzing the character in One Piece, it becomes clear that the story relies heavily on strong archetype combined with distinctive personality trait. The characters are designed not only to move the plot forward but also to represent different philosophies about ambition, loyalty, and personal identity. In a reviewer's perspective, the success of the series largely depends on how effectively these characters bring emotional depth and individuality to the adventurous world created by Ichiro Oda. The central figure of the story is Monkey D. Luffy, who functions as a classic heroic dreamer archetype. Luffy represents optimism in its purest form. His personality is defined by simplicity, courage, and almost childlike belief in freedom. Unlike traditional strategic leaders, he rarely overthinks situations. Instead, he follows his instinct and values personal loyalty above all else. From a character analysis perspective, Luffy works as the emotional heart of the story. His unwavering belief in this freedom dream to become the pirate king acts as a motivational force that inspired the character around him. When make Luffy particularly combining is that his strength does not come only from physical abilities but from his refusal to abandon his ideal. In narrative term, he embodies the archetype of the idealistic adventurer, someone who challenges authority not out of rebellion alone but because he believes in a world where individuals should live freely. Next is Ronoa Zoro, who fit the warrior archetype, who often found in adventure stories. Zoro's personality contrasts strongly with Luffy's energetic optimism. He is calm, disciplined, and instantly focused on his personal ambition of becoming the world's greatest swordsman. Zoro's character functions as the embodiment of determination and personal honor. In many ways, he represents the theme of self mastery. His stoic nature adds a sense of seriousness and stability to the group dynamic. As the reviewers might observe, Zoro provides the narrative with a grounding presence, balances Luffy's spontaneity with quiet strength and loyalty. His commitment to both his dream and his captain illustrate the complex relationship between personal ambition and loyalty to others. Another key character is Nami, who can be viewed through the strategistic or warrior archetype. Nami's personality is defined by intelligence, resourcefulness, and a deep sense of caution. While some characters approach adventure with enthusiasm, Nami attempts to evaluate risk carefully before acting. This practical mindset brings an essential perspective to the group. Her skill as a navigator symbolizes guidance not only in a physical sense but also in a strategic one. From a character analysis standpoint, Nami adds emotional complexity to the narrative because her motivation often reflects deeper concern about security, trust, and personal history. She represents the idea that strength can come from intellect and emotional resilience rather than pure physical power. Another interesting personality within the group is Aesop, who fit the reluctant hero archetype. Usopp defining the trait is his mixture of fear and courage. He often appears anxious or hesitant, yet when confronted with moments that truly matter, he finds unexpected bravery. This duality makes him one of the most relatable characters in the series, while other character possesses extraordinary skin and unwavering confidence. Usopp represents the ordinary person trying to find courage in difficult situations. In a reviewer analysis, his character functions as a bridge between audience and a fantastical world of pirate and adventure. His emotional reaction mirrors what many viewers might feel in similar circumstances. The final central member often discussed in character analysis is Sanji, who represents the chivalrous protector archetype. Sanji's combine elegance with compatibility, presenting a personality defined by charm, loyalty, and a strong moral code. His identity as a chef adds another dimension to the narrative, emphasizing the importance of care and hospitality even in a world of the conflict. Sanjay's presence reminds viewers that strength can coexist with companion. His willingness to defend others while maintaining his personal values add emotional richness to the group dynamic. From a broader perspective, the main character collectively represent different philosophies of strength and identity. Luffy symbolizes freedom and optimism. Zoro embodies discipline and honor. Namis demonstrate intelligence and resilience. Also represent courage in the face of fear, and Sanjay's highlight loyalty and companion. These archetypes create a balance in ensemble where each personality contributes something unique to the narrative. What makes the character design particularly effective is the way though these contrasting personalities interact with one another. Instead of existing as isolated figures, the character develop through these relationship and shared experience. Their conservation, disagreement, and moment of sport reveal deeper layer of their personalities. In a reviewer's tone, one might say that emotional success of the series lies less in its action sequence and more in the chemistry between its characters. Ultimately, the character of One Piece demonstrates how archetypal role can be reinterpreted with the individuality and emotional depth by combining recognizable personality trait with a unique motivation. The story creates a cast that feel both iconic and relatable. This balance between familiar archetype and personal complexity is one of the reasons the narrative continues to resonate with audience across different cultures and generations. The acting performance in the film play a crucial role in bringing the imaginative world of pirate and adventure to life. Because the story originates from the manga created by Chiro Oda, the actors play a unique challenge. They must translate highly stylized character originally drawn in exaggerated comic form into believable live action performance. From a reviewer emotional perspective, the success of the series depends largely on whether the actor can capture the spirit, humor, and heart of the characters while still making them feel human and relatable. At the center of the show is the performance of Inaki Godoy, who portrays Monkey D. Luffy. His portrait carries the emotional weight of the series because Luffy is not just the main character but also the symbol of its core theme: freedom, optimism, and the pursuit of dream. Gode approaches the role with a remarkable sense of energy and sincerity. His performance captured the character's childlike enthusiasm and fearless determination while making it feel exaggerated or artificial. Luffy's personality is defined by a joyful simplicity, and Gode manages to present this trait in a way that feels natural rather than cartoonish. The result is a performance that radiates warmth and positivity, allowing viewers to easily connect with the character's adventurous spirit. Another standout performance comes from Mackenyu, who plays Renoir Zoro. In contrast to Luffy's energetic personality, Zoro is calm, disciplined, and often emotionally reserved. Mackenyu embraces this stoic quality and delivers a performance built on subtitle intensity rather than dramatic expression. His physical presence and controlled delivery give the character a strong sense of determination and honor. As a swordsman who constantly strives to become stronger, Zoro's personality is defined by quiet focus. Mackenyu performance successfully communicates this inner discipline while still allowing glimpse of loyalty and respect toward his companion. Emily Root brings another dimension to the cast through her portrayal of Namis. Nami's character requires a delicate emotional balance. She must appear confident and intelligent while also revealing vulnerability and personal struggle. Root's performance is managed to capture this complexity reflectively and personal struggle. Root's personal performance managed to capture this complexity effectively. She portrays Nami as someone who is both curious and capable, using wit and strategic thinking to navigate difficult situation. Emotionally rude allow the audience to sense the character deeper motivation and hidden fear, which add depth to the narrative. Her performance helps ensure that Nami feels like more than just a navigator. She becomes a fully realized individual with her own emotional journey. The supporting cast also play an emotional role in shaping the emotional atmosphere of the series. Jacques Romero Gibson, who portrays Usopp, delivers a performance that blends humor with vulnerability. Usopp is often characterized by his exaggerated storytelling and occasional cowardice, yet beneath these traits lies a sincere desire to prove his bravery. Gibson captured this duality with a performance that is both entertaining and emotionally relatable. His expressive reactions and comedic timing provide many of the show's lighter moments, but he also brings genuine heart to scenes where the characters struggle with self-confidence. Similarly, Skylar adds charisma and charm in his role as Sanji. Sanji's personality combines elegance, humor, and a strong sense of loyalty. Skylar portrays the character with a confidence presence that reflect both his comeback abilities and his refined personality. His performance had a stylish energy to the group dynamic, especially during moments where the character expresses his passion for cooking or his dedication to protecting others. One of the most important aspects of the acting in One Piece is the chemistry among the cast members. Because the story focuses heavily on the bond between the crew member, the relationship between the actor must feel genuine. Fortunately, the cast demonstrate a natural sense of camaraderie that translates effectively on screen. Their interaction feels spontaneous and authentic, whether they are sharing humorous conversation, debating discussions, or supporting one another during tense moments. This sense of teamwork allows viewers to believe in the emotional bond between the characters. The chemistry between the main cast also strengthened the show's central theme of friendship and loyalty. When characters laugh together, argue, or defend each other, the audience feel that the relationship are real rather than simply written into the spirit. This authenticity helped transform the group from a collection of individuals into a believable crew united by shared dreams. From an emotional standpoint, the performances succeed because they capture the heart and spirit of the story rather than merely reproducing its surface detail. The character approach their role with enthusiasm and sincerity, which allow the character to feel alive in a live action setting. Overall, the acting performance in One Piece contributes significantly to the series' emotional impact through the energies of the lead actor, the charm of the supporting cast, and the convincing chemistry between the crew members. The show creates a character-driven experience that resonates with the audience. The performance reminds viewers that even within a fantastical world of pirate and adventure, the most compelling element of the story are the people who share the journey together. When discussing realism and character depth in One Piece, it's important to remember that the story exists in a highly imaginative world filled with pirate, unusual power, and fantastical location. Because of this realism in the story, traditional sense is not the primary goal. Instead, his series focuses on emotional realism, creating characters whose motivations, struggles, and relationship feel believable even within an extraordinary setting. From a reviewer's perspective, the success of the show largely depends on how effectively it balances its larger than life adventure with grounded character development. One of the most noticeable aspects of realism in the series is the gradual development of its character. Rather than presenting fully formed heroes from the beginning, the story allows viewers to see how each individual growth through experience. Characters are introduced with clear ambition and personalities, but their journeys are shaped by the challenge they face and their relationship they build. This process of growth adds depth to the narrative because the audience witnesses transformation rather than static characterization. A strong example of this development can be seen in Monkey D. Luffy, whose personality appears simple at first glance but gradually reveal deeper layer. Luffy is optimistic, fearless, and often impulsive, yet these traits are balanced by an unwavering loyalty to his friend. His emotional range becomes visible when he confronts situations that test his ideals, when he rarely abandons his cheerful outlook. In moments of frustration or determination reveal that his confidence comes from a sincere belief in protecting the people around him. This combination of innocence and conviction help make the character feel authentic rather than exaggerated. Another dimension of realism appears in the contrast between different personalities within the crew. Characters such as Rono or Zoro brings a more disciplined and serious presence to the group. Zoro's determination to become the greatest swordsman reflects a mindset focused on self-improvement and personal honor. His calm and controlled demeanor create a believable counterbalance to Luffy's energetic nature. This contrast between personalities mirror real-world group dynamic where individuals with different strength and attitude must learn to cooperate. Similarly, Namis contribute to the sense of realism through their pragmatic and cautious approach to adventure. Unlike characters who rush into danger without hesitation, Nami often evaluate risk and consequence before making decision. Her strategic thinking and emotional complexity make her motivation easier for viewer to understand. She represents the perspective of someone who has learned through experience that survival often requires careful planning rather than blind courage. Character depth is also strengthened through emotional backstories. Many characters carry personal histories that shape their personalities and motivation. These backstories are not presenting simply for dramatic effect, they explain why individuals behave the way they do. When viewers learn about a character's past struggles or hardship, the action in the present being to feel more meaningful. This narrative technique allows the audience to see character as product of their experience rather than simple archetype. Another factor contributing to believability is the emotional range displayed during interaction between the character. The crew members do not behave as perfectly harmonious companions. They argue, question each other's decisions, and occasionally clash over priorities. These agreements create a sense of authenticity because they reflect the complexity of real relationship. At the same time, the character demonstrate loyalty and respect when it matters most, reinforcing the idea that strong bonds are built through both conflict and understanding. The series also explored the realism through the psychological challenges associated with pursuing ambitious dreams. Every character seeks something meaningful, yet the journey opposite introduces emotional tension. Character must confront their fears and insecurities as they continue forward. The internal struggle adds to the narrative because it highlights the human side of the character. Another noticeable element of the realism lies in the way the story portrays responsibility and consequence. While the world of pirate often appears thrilling and liberating, the character must still deal with the impact of their choices. Actions have ripple effect that influence relationship, alliance, and personal growth. By acknowledging these consequences, the narrative avoid becoming purely escapistic and instead presents a more nuanced exploration of freedom. The show also benefits from the natural chemistry among its characters, which enhance the sense of believability. Conservation feels spontaneous, and moment of humor or tension raised originally from the personalities involved. These interactions help transform the character from fictional figure into individual who feel emotional present within the story. Ultimately, realism and depth in One Piece emerge from the combination of character development and emotional complexity and believable relationship. Even though the setting is fantastical, the character respond to challenge in way that reflect genuine human emotions. Their ambition, fear, loyalties mirror experience that viewer recognize in their own lives. From a reviewer standpoint, this balance between imaginative storytelling and authentic character depth is one of the series' greatest strengths by grounding its extraordinary world in relatable emotional experience. The production budget for One Piece represents one of the most ambitious financial commitment made for a modern streaming adventure series. Adopting the imaginative world created by Ichiro Oda required substantial resources because the narrative include large-scale environments, stylized character, and a wide variety of visual effects. From an analytical perspective, the financial scale of the production reflects the complexity of translating a long-running manga universe into a convincing live-action format. Industry estimate place the cost of the series at roughly $15 million to $18 million per episode, placing it among the most expensive television production in the fantasy and adventure category. With the season consisting of approximately 8 episodes, the total production budget is generally estimated within the $120 million to $150 million range. For a streaming project, this level of investment signal that platform view the series as a long-term global franchise rather than a short experimental adaptation. The budget must support not only the storytelling but also the creation of a believable world that reflect the creativity and the scale of the original material. A significant portion of the budget is allocated to set construction and production design. Unlike some television series that rely heavily on digital background, this production incorporates large practical sets. Pirate ship, coastal town, docks, and interior ship environment are built as physical locations so that the actor can interact with real surroundings. Constructing these sets requires skilled designer, carpenter, and large studio spaces. The advantages of this approach is that it provides a stronger sense of realism and immersion for viewer. Physical set also allow for more dynamic camera movement during action scenes, which help the series maintain its cinematic quality. Another major budget category involve visual effects and digital production because the story includes supernatural abilities, exaggerated action sequence, and unusual creation. Visual effects are essential to the storytelling. For example, the elastic abilities of the monkey D. Lofe require advanced computer generated imagery to appear natural within live action footage. Visual effect team must integrate digital animation with practical filming, which increase both the time and the cost of post production. In addition, scenes set on open oceans or within a large fantasy environment often require digital extension to enhance scale and atmosphere. A third area of spending involve location production and logistical cost. Filming large adventure scenes frequently require outdoor environment that resemble coastal or maritime landscape. Transporting equipment, constructing temporary set, and coordinating large crew across filming locations contribute to the overall production expenses. Safety measures, stunt coordinator, and special effect planning also add to the logistical complexity of the filming such scene. The cast and the crew composition form another essential component of the budget structure. The series features an international cast portraying iconic characters from the original story. Lead performers such as Inaki, Godoy, and Mackenyu play central role that require both physical performance and emotional expression. Alongside the actor, a large technical crew support the production, including cinematography, costume designer, stunt team, editor, and visual effects specialist. Each department contributes specialized expertise that is necessary for producing a project of this scale. Costume design and prom also represent a notable portion of the resource allocation because the story features pirate, marines, and travelers from many different cultures. The wardrobe must reflect a wide range of style. Designer must balance authenticity within the colorful aesthetic that define that One Piece universe. Props such as swords, navigation tools, and ship equipments are carefully designed to maintain consistency with the world building established in the original narrative. When compared with similar high budget series, the financial scale of One Piece fall within the upper tier of streaming production. Fantasy series such as the Game of Thrones reportedly reach budget of around $50 million per episode during the late season, while science fiction production like the Mandalorian have operated within memorable ranges. In contrast, extremely large productions such as Strange Things eventually expand to even higher per episode cost in later season. Within this context, the financial scale of Piece position it alongside other flash flagship streaming series intended to attract international audience. From an analytical standpoint, the budget reflects the production commitment to visual authenticity and large-scale storytelling. By allocating resources across practical set, digital effect, and a skilled international cast, the creator attempt to capture the expansive spirit of the original story. The result is a production designed to deliver both spectacle and the character-driven storytelling while maintaining the adventurous tones that define the world of One Piece. When discussing the domestic box office performances related to One Piece, it is important to understand that the project allow a distribution model that differs from traditional theatrical film. Instead of being released primarily in cinema, the series is distributed through a global streaming platform. Because of this, there is no conventional domestic box office revenue in the same sense as the movie released in theater across the United States or another specific region. However, analysts can still evaluate domestic performance by examining viewership statistic, audience engagement level, and the regional popularity trend. Within the United States, the show demonstrated strongly early viewership shortly after its release. Streaming measurement services estimated that the series accumulated a very large number of viewing minutes during its debut week. This indicates that the domestic audience showed no considerable curiosity and interest in the adaptation. The performance is particularly notable because the original story was created by Ichiro Oda and the adaptation of Japanese manga have historically faced challenges when trying to reach mainstream Western audience. The success of the series in the domestic market suggests that the storytelling style, character, and adventurous tone were accessible to a broad range of viewers. Another factor contributed to domestic popularity involved audience demographics. Streaming data suggests that the show attracted a diverse group of viewers across different communities in the United States. This broad demographic appeal is significant because it indicates that the series reached beyond the typical fan base associated with anime or manga. The adventurous theme, humorous tone, and strong emphasis on friendship help the story connect with viewers who may not have been familiar with the original source material. In this way, the show managed to transform a long running Japanese franchise in a globally approachable narrative audience trend also reveal that the adventure and the fantasy series tend to prove well within the domestic streaming market. Over the past year, viewers have shown strong interest in stories that combine world building with serialized storytelling. Productions such as Stranger Things have demonstrated that audience enjoy immersive fictional universe that unfold across multiple episodes. The structure of One Piece aligns well with this trend because the narrative centers on a group of characters traveling across different locations and encountering new challenges. This episodic exploration naturally encourages viewers to continue watching successive episodes. When comparing domestic performance with similar production, the series occupies a position among high-budget streaming titles that aim for international appeal. For example, fantasy and adventure production like The Witcher and The Mandalorian also rely heavily on streaming metrics rather than box office revenue to measure success. These shows typically attract large domestic audience during their release periods and maintain popularity through ongoing discussion and social media engagement. One Piece follows a simple pattern where an initial curiosity is reinforced by the word of mouth recommendation and positive viewers reaction. Domestic audience interest can also be evaluated by examining how frequently the show appeared in platform ranking lists. During its first release period, the series maintained a high position among the most watched titles on the platform. Consistently appearing in these ranking indicates sustained viewer attention rather than a brief surge of interest. For streaming platform, maintaining a strong ranking position is comparable to movie maintaining highly weekly box office revenue in theater. Another useful comparison can be made with the broader franchise connected to the story. Animated film based on the same universe such as One Piece film Red have achieved significant theatrical revenue worldwide. Although those films operate with a traditional box office system, the success of the live action series demonstrates that the franchise can also thrive within moderate streaming environment. Instead of selling cinema tickets, the series contribute to the subscriber engagement, platform visibility, and long-term audience retention. From a domestic market perspective, the strong response to the series suggests that audiences are increasingly open to international storytelling influence. The adaptation combined Western live-action filmmaking technique with character and concept originally developed in Japanese manga culture. This blend of creative tradition helps the story feel develop both familiar and unique to domestic viewer. Overall, while the production does not generate domestic box office earning in the traditional theatrical sense, its performance with the domestic streaming market indicates substantial viewers engagement, high viewing hours, diverse audience demographic, and a strong ranking position all demonstrate that the series achieve a level of popularity comparable to major streaming hits in the evolving entertainment industry. These metrics have become the modern equivalent of domestic box office success, reflecting how audience increasingly experience large-scale storytelling through digital platform rather than cinema screen. When analyzing international box office performance related to One Piece, it is important to recognize that the project operates under a global streaming distribution model rather than the traditional theatrical release. Because of these, international earnings are not measured through cinema ticket sales. Instead, analysts evaluate success using international viewership numbers, regional popularity, subscription engagement, and the platform ranking across different countries. In modern entertainment economic, these metrics function as the closest equivalent to international box office revenue for streaming production. The international appeal of the series is closely tied to the long-standing popularity of the franchise created by Chihiro Oda for more than 2 decades. The original manga and then animated adaptation have built a massive global fan base. As a result, anticipation for the live action version extended far beyond a simple national market. Countries in Asia, Europe, and Latin America already has strong familiarity with the character and theme. These existing recognition significantly influence early audience engagement and help the series achieve immediate global visibility. One of the most important international region for the Japan for the franchise in Japan, where the original story hold deep culture significance. Japanese audience tend to be particularly protective of adaptation based on beloved manga properties. Historically, some live action adaptation have struggled to gain acceptance with this market. However, early reception indicates that the series attracted considerable interest in Japan, partially because the creator maintained involvement in the production process. Marketing campaigns emphasized that the adaptation respected the original tone and the character, which helped reassure long-time fans. As a result, the series performed strongly on streaming chart with the Japanese market during its release period. Another key international market is Latin America, where the One Piece franchise has maintained strong popularity through television broadcast of the animated series. The casting of Inaki, Godoy, and the Monkey D. Luffy also contributed to original engagement. Latin American audience often respond positively with when international production include performance from their region. This representation increased local interest and helped the series stand widely on social media platforms across Spanish speaking countries. In terms of streaming performances, several Latin America countries placed the show within the top ranking shortly after its release. European market also play a significant role in the series' international performances. Countries such as France, Germany, and Spain have long supported Japanese animation and the manga culture. Because of this established fan community, promotional campaign in Europe focused on emphasizing the authenticity of the adaptation and its respect for the original source material. These marketing strategies proved effective as the show quickly entered top streaming list across many European countries. The strong response suggests that the audience in these regions view the adaptation not only as an adaptation but also a large scale fantasy adventure comparable to other international streaming hits. From a marketing perspective, the global promotional strategy was carefully designed to highlight the scale and the ambition of the project. Trailer, behind the scene footage, and the cast interview were released significantly in multiple languages to generate worldwide interview excitement. Social media campaign also help a major role in spreading awareness. Fans of the franchise share promotional material across online communities, which created organic advertising beyond the official marketing effort. This type of digital engagement can significantly influence international success because it allows audience from different communities to participate in the same cultural conservation. Another factor that strengthened international reception was the production effort to maintain visual authenticity. Large physical set, detailed costume, and high quality visual effect helped the series stand out among other streaming release. Audiences around the world often respond positively when a production demonstrates visible investment in a world building and design. In this case, the high production values reinforce the reception, and the series was a major international event rather than a small experience. Adaptation comparison can also be made with other global streaming franchise shows like The Witcher and The Stranger Things have demonstrated how international audience increasingly consume large-scale entertainment through digital platform. The One Piece adaptation follow a similar trajectory by appearing in top streaming ranking across dozens of countries simultaneously. Achieving this level of worldwide reach is often considered equivalent to strong international box office performance in the modern streaming era. When the series does not generate traditional international box office revenue, its global reception demonstrates significant international success. Strong engagement popularity translated effectively into a live action format. Strategic marketing, high production values, and established global fan base, the series achieved widespread international visibility and audience participation, making it one of the more notable global streaming releases in recent years. When analyzing Wild Across and break-even performance for One Piece, the financial DCA differ from the traditional box office model used for theatrical film. In the case of the cinema release, the worldwide gross refer to the total ticket revenue earned across all the international market stream. However, streaming production operate within a different economic structure. Instead of box office earning, the financial success of the series is measured through viewership numbers, subscriber growth, audience engagement, and a long time term platform value. These metrics together represent the closest equivalent to the worldwide gross in the streaming ecosystem. The global audience for the series is one of the most important financial indicators. The stories originate from the manga created by the Ichiro Oda, which already had a massive international following, along the live action adaptation. Performances also play a major role in shaping the show's overall effectiveness. The cast approaches the material with enthusiasm and sincerity, which help maintain the adventurous tone of the series. Godoy delivered an energetic performance on Monkey D. Loafer, capturing the character optimism and determination. His portrait bring warmth and humor to the story, making the central figure approachable and engaging for audience. This performance is especially important because the entire narrative revolves around the spirit and the leadership of the protagonist. Other cast members also contribute to the strength of the ensemble dynamic. Mackenyu provided a discipline and a focused presence that balance the protagonist's carefree personality. The contrast between the energetic enthusiasm and quiet determination add depth to the group dynamic. The supporting actor collectively help create a sense of camaraderie, which is essential for the story built around teamwork and shared ambition. One of the most compiling aspect of the series is its exploration of themes related to the freedom, ambition, and the personal dream. Viewers who enjoy imaginative adventure stories will likely find One Piece a rewarding experience. The series is primarily designed for audience who appreciate large-scale fantasy world, colorful storytelling, and character-driven journey. Fans of adventure and fantasy genre and the most natural audience because the show embraces exploration, bold visuals, and a sense of optimism that define many classic adventure narrative. The overall tone focuses on excitement, humor, and emotional friendship, making it appealing to viewers who enjoy a uplifting story rather than darker or more serious drama. The story series is particularly well suited for teenager and young adult, roughly in the age range of about 13 to 30. The older viewer who enjoy imaginative storytelling can also connect with the themes of ambition, freedom, and pursuing personal dream resonates strongly with younger audience who are interested in inspirational journey and stories about overcoming obstacles. That adventure pacing and the bright visual style also make it engaging for viewers who prefer energetic entertainment rather than slow dialogue heavy narrative. This series may not be appeal to everyone. Viewers who prefer serious historical drama, realistic crime stories, or dramatic narratives may find the exaggerated style or fantasy element less engaging. The tone often mixes humor with action and emotional moment, which might feel unusual for audience who prefer consistent realism or darker storytelling. One Piece is best suited for viewers who enjoy imaginative adventure, vibrant color building, and a theme centered on friendship and determination. Those looking for a visually creative, optimistic series with strong emotional worth will likely appreciate its style and spirit.